In a season where the New York Jets are expected to contend for not just a playoff spot, but possibly more, who are the players who are the most indispensable to their season being a success? We're going to rank them down from 10 all the way down to 1, talk about the news surrounding the green and white, and I've got a whole lot more to talk about in the world of New York sports. But ladies and gentlemen, you know what's up. It's Wednesday night, and we are live. Welcome everybody to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to join me here on a Wednesday night extravaganza. And we're going to get right into it. Before I get into the 3 and out, I want to reach out to you guys, the viewing public, the guys who, we spend our Wednesday nights together, other random days during the week, whether I'm making an appearance on another channel or if I just happen to post a random video. Never know what might be going on. But first person I got to acknowledge is the great Jets Mess channel member. Of course, channel memberships are available, about $5 a month. I will shout you out at the end of every recorded video that I do. You get the emojis and all that fun stuff that comes with it. I also want to say Hank G, loyal soldier. And if I was in a foxhole, that means I'd be in a lot of trouble. But Hank G would be a good person to have with me. And Harlan Abraham, one of the most loyal Jet fans and Jet content fans out there. Good to see you too, my friend. I am glad you're here. Thomas Fitzpatrick. Hey, if you haven't checked out Thomas's channel, definitely go do that. He does a lot of live streaming. We have a few back and forth because, we've he and I are different guys, not just sports teams, but restaurants and where we live and all kinds of stuff. But Thomas is a good dude. So definitely go check him out and give him a subscribe. All right, guys, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to talk about, you know what, Alon? And that's what I'm pronouncing you. I guess you're talking about Forecast of the golf course. Hey, you know what? The Islanders should be in really good shape to beat the Rangers because they got more practice. 1983. Anyway, seriously, I don't even hate the Islanders, but gosh, just certain fans just like, rent-free, buddy. Rent-free, buddy. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But I appreciate you being here. What we're going to do tonight, we're going to do the 3 and out. We're going to talk about some Jets news because we got a few things to talk about, a couple of little stories, nothing in my mind too earth-shattering. Then we're going to rank down the top 10 indispensable Jets from 10 all the way to 1. So I'm sure we got a few we'll agree with, a few we'll disagree with. Throw your comments in there. We'll kind of see how we're doing on time. Of course, we'll do trivia and all that good stuff. But I do have an official announcement to make, but I'm going to wait a little bit later on so that the folks coming over from Pride and Chaos, they got some time to check that out as well. So pretty big show coming up. Also, a hello to the great Nate. Hung out with Nick and BR and I a couple of nights ago. Nate, I appreciate you being here. Hank G knows what's up. Go Oilers is right. I will say this about the Stanley Cup, and believe me, I'm not talking too much more hockey in the near future. If you guys want my Rangers recap, I already recorded a video, and that thing's already got over 1,000 views, which is actually pretty amazing. I guess I riled a few people up because I really tried to make sure not to yell and scream in that video. I really, really tried. But I did predict at the beginning of the year the Oilers would make the Stanley Cup Finals. I got that right. The Eastern Conference finalists did not get that right. I actually predicted Toronto and Edmonton. I predicted an all-Canada final, and I know Toronto went out in the first round, but it did take overtime in Game 7 to take them out. Nevertheless, they weren't going to beat Florida anyway. So all the best to the Edmonton Oilers. I hope they win that Stanley Cup. All right, so let's talk about what's on my mind first of all, and a little bit segment that we like to call 3 and Out. So the first thing we're going to talk a little Knicks, because there have been some talks about what their center, their free agent center, Isaiah Hartenstein, is going to get on the open market. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to give you a couple quick numbers. On the open market, Hartenstein could get up to 5 years and maybe about $100 million, 80 to $100 million. The problem is the Knicks can only give him 4 years, $72.5 million. And that's because the Knicks have his early bird rights. So basically, if a player has been on a team, they've got bird rights. Whatever team you end that contract with, that team can then go over the salary cap to pay that player. All right. Now, Hartenstein's only been here 2 years. So the rule is the Knicks can pay him 175% more than what he made last season. Okay. So that would be 4 years, $72.5 million. Now, there's a couple of teams that have the cap space to sign him. I'm going to run through them really quick. Detroit, they got $64 million in space. Philadelphia, $61 million in space. Utah's got 38. Oklahoma City, 35. Interesting, considering they were the number 1 seed. They got some space. Orlando's got 25, and San Antonio's got 21. Charlotte and Toronto could get up to 30 if they pick up some player options. Just to give you some odds on that, don't expect Detroit. They already have several centers under contract. Philadelphia has Embiid. I don't think it makes sense for them to sign Hartenstein unless their whole goal in life is to just stick it up the Knicks' rear end, right? I don't see that making sense. San Antonio has a Wembanyama. I don't think it makes sense for them. Oklahoma City would scare me a little bit. You know, Chet Holmgren could use some protection. They got beat down low by Dallas early in the playoffs. I think it would make sense. I would say I'm most concerned about OKC taking Hartenstein, but Utah and Orlando, probably the next 2 teams. But Leon Rose has a way of signing players for less than what they're worth. Just look at the Nova 3, Brunson, Hart, and DiVincenzo, and look at Hartenstein himself. Rose has an ability to find talent that other people don't see and bring them in, and they fit very well into the system. So here's my thought. If Hartenstein's willing to stay for a reasonable contract, that's great, but he's not the priority right now. The Knicks need to keep OG Anunoby, and they got to look at giving Brunson a contract extension since he's a free agent in just a couple of years. So if Hartenstein's willing to take a little bit less to stay, maybe about $15 million a year, I'm open to it. If he isn't, you know what? Knicks got 3 picks in this draft. I think they could find somebody to take that spot. Just my thoughts on that. I want to say a quick hello to the great Dane O. Definitely somebody to go subscribe. He was on, I think, with Gunny last night, I believe, for quite a bit with Johnny and just a whole cast of misfits. Man, it was packed in that little trophy room of Gunny's down there in Houston. But it was definitely a fun watch. All right, on to baseball a little bit. Yankee fans, man, you guys must be pretty happy right now. Yankees have thumped the Twins again, ho-hum. Yeah. I mean, come on. In other news, water is wet. The Yankees beat the Twins, right? But Carlos Rodon actually took a perfect game into the 6th inning. Why does Minnesota even bother playing the Yankees? What is the point? You got to give credit to this kid, Luis Gil. Forget about allowing runs. This guy doesn't even allow hits. Minnesota the other night managed 1 in 6 innings against Gil. Gil has made 12 starts, and in 10 of those 12 starts, he has allowed 3 hits or less. Wow. He's worked at least 6 innings and allowed 1 run or no runs in 7 straight starts. He's been amazing. You got to give him all the credit in the world. Now Garrett Cole is on his way back, had a rehab start today. So Yankees looking very, very good. Now Baltimore and Cleveland right behind them in the standings. And as we've seen more and more in the world of baseball, all that matters is that you get in the tournament and that you're healthy. That's it. It does not matter if you have home field or if you get the last wild card spot. Yeah, there's another round to play. There's more games to win. But how many teams have we seen get the first round bye and bow out immediately? So it's all about health and, running on all cylinders when October comes. And by the way, Gil actually missed 2 years, I found out, because of Tommy John surgery. I don't know what that doctor did, but I hope this is the same doctor that's looking at all the Mets elbows right now. Lavender, Ziegler, all these prospects they have who are hurt. Hey, maybe whatever doctor worked on Gil on his elbow, can he look at Kodai Senga's shoulder and triceps? Can he get those working again? Because, Senga would be a very welcome addition to the Mets rotation. But speaking of the New York Mets, they swept Washington in a 3-game series. First time they've done that since 2018, By the way, it's kind of ironic. I move away from the state of Virginia, and boom, the Mets sweep Washington just as I leave. You know, the timing is amazing, just amazing. But the Mets have won 5 of their last 7 games. They are 27-35 overall. Nothing to be excited about. But you know what? They're still 3.5 games out of the playoffs with 100 games left to go. So still certainly a chance. Daniel Nunez has become a weapon out of the bullpen. Luis Torrens has filled in very well at catcher. 2 home runs today, threw a runner out trying to steal second base. Mark Vientos going into today was hitting 327 with 4 doubles, 4 home runs, and 9 RBI since being called from AAA Syracuse. That's over 16 games. Pete Alonso looking better. Over 26 games, hitting 279, 10 doubles, 6 home runs, 15 RBIs. Francisco Lindor's looking a lot better too. Now, all the good things I'm saying here, I'm not ready to declare the New York Mets as being back. Now, I did say there were 3.5 games out of the wild card, but if you look at the National League, there are still only 2 teams with a worse record than the Mets, Colorado and Miami. So the Mets, they really need to keep playing like this for a whole month, through the whole month of June, which is usually a horrible month, especially for the Mets. So here's what I want. All right, they've got 2 days off before the 2 games against Philadelphia in London, England. Just split those 2 games. Philadelphia is an excellent team. Win one of them. You know, you're not facing Wheeler. You're not facing Nola. You're not facing their best pitchers. Okay, so win one of those games. That's all I want, because then after that you have Miami at home for 3 games. You've got to win 2 of those. And then after that, you got 3 at home against San Diego. San Diego currently has the 2nd wild card spot. That is a series to make a statement. Okay, but Francisco Alvarez, he's been catching, and when Diaz, I think he's throwing an inning. I want to say in Brooklyn. I think tomorrow. I think that's the plan. But both of these players will likely be back right after the London series, and that can only help matters. All right, so not ready to declare the Mets back yet, but I do think rock bottom is now over after the whole Jorge Lopez disaster. All right, guys. Well, I'll tell you what. You know, you see the wicker chair behind me, right? Yeah. You got the wicker chair. It is still here in the studio apartment, but now I think what we got to do, we got to sort of change the background. That's right, because we are going to change the mood. We're going to make it just a little bit darker. We're going to make it a little bit greener. And I think we're going to change. I think we got to change the brand here. So if you notice that Watts UK99 logo, well, I think it's time to switch that from blue to green. And we know what comes after that. So everybody, I want to hear you say it proud, say it loud, and let it go. There it is, Jets, Jets, and we're going to get right into some New York Jets news. See that little transition I made? You like that? All right, yeah, the little Jets news bleeper. Anyway, so a couple of random stories that I do want to talk about here. Christian Hackenberg was on with Ross Tucker. I can't believe I'm actually talking about Christian Hackenberg, but oh my God. I guess he had to promote his Penn State podcast or whatever he's doing nowadays. But Hackenberg admitted that New York was the wrong spot for him. Expectations were high. McCagnon traded up for him, as we all know. And then the Jets had no idea how to develop that quarterback. No idea what to do. They had no plan for him. And he was still very raw. But nevertheless, he could not make it even after bouncing around to several other teams. I believe that if a player is good enough, if he's in the right system, that team can make something of him in most cases. And, you know, he went to a couple places. He went to the Raiders. He went to the Eagles. And next thing you know, he's in the semi-pro leagues, basically. So, you know, I appreciate Hackenberg's honesty more than anything. He was put into a bit of a no-win situation. So I can't be as mad at him as I was even a couple of years ago, because he was not really put in a position to win. And when it comes down to quarterbacks, you can look at him. Most times, if you don't put that quarterback in a position to win, he cannot overcome the ineptitude of the organization. I'm going to say this again. Lamar Jackson. Do you think Lamar Jackson would have been an MVP if he'd been drafted by the Jets? He'd have been a chronically injured quarterback. He might be out of the league by now, but Baltimore knows how to build a team. They knew how to cater the offense around him, and now, you know, he's a very, very good quarterback. So That's just one example. I don't know where Hackenberg could have gone, where he would have worked out, but it certainly didn't help that he went to the Jets, who already had 3 other quarterbacks to begin with. What did they have? Geno, Bryce, and Fitz all there at the same time? I know Geno and Bryce were there. I may not have been Fitz, but it was another one. So anyway, Jets mess with the question, how hurt is Brees? I'm not too worried about it. Minicamp is coming up, mandatory minicamp, which we're going to talk about soon. So if he doesn't participate in that, still not a big deal. But you know what? Even if Brees didn't do anything for another 6 weeks, are we really worried about it? Not really. Not really. You just care that he knows what he has to do. He knows how he has to prepare. And as long as he's ready to go, by the second preseason game, I'm good. It's about all I really need. Bobby doesn't like the 3 and out. Yeah, Bobby, and he'll tell you too. Bobby is just so himself that we still gotta love him. What can I say? All right. Well, we're gonna go from Christian Hackenberg to Keith Carter. I'm trying to get all the annoying stuff out of the way, right? So Keith Carter said he's working on changing himself and how he delivers his message. Well, you know what? I guess that's a little bit encouraging. I guess. Because, he alienated a lot of players last year. Many, many, many players last year. So Carter realizes that he pissed some people off in Tennessee. He pissed some people off in Florham Park last year. He has to change a few things. Now, Tom Coughlin did it. Hopefully, Carter can do the same. But again, the fact that the Jets now have more of a veteran offensive line, that is really going to help. Because here's the thing. If Carter alienates Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses, Smith and Moses are like the defunct, offensive line coaches anyway. And then, at that point, Carter's just a man on an island anyway. So I think Carter knows that, he's his butt's on the line this time. Tired of Bobby says ban him. I really don't want to ban people. I try not to do that. There's certain people I would mute, but that's on social media. For the show, I don't really want to do that. So, Dano, I do appreciate seeing new people callers more than reoccurring, but that's just me. Yep, I do as well. It's here's the thing with doing these shows. It's very easy. It's one thing to get new people in to watch the show, but do they come back the next week? That's always the next key. Trying to bring them back for week 2 and week 3 and week 4 and so on and so on. And that's how you build these whole things up. All right, a couple other things. Braylon Allen, he has definitely been jumping out in camp as of late. And a lot of it has been because of his pass catching. I guess he made a great catch down the left sideline. He high-pointed the ball very well, ripped it away from the defender. And he really wasn't much of a pass catcher in college. We talked about Braylon Allen, months ago when we were talking about those running backs. We said that he wasn't very used to catching the ball out of the backfield, but his senior year at Wisconsin, he really upped his game there. He got a lot more opportunities to do that. And it seems like he is taken to it very, very well. Like Bobby would take to watching the wheel, just beautifully, right? And he's got a nice burst for being 235 pounds. So, again, I'm super excited about Braylon Allen. Isaiah Davis getting a lot of work with Aaron Rodgers as well. So, a lot of people thinking the writing is on the wall with Izzy Abanikanda. And I got to be honest with you, Izzy was a lower round pick anyway. These other picks, especially Braylon, was a higher pick. If it winds up being just 1 year and these other 2 guys are that much better and they both wind up being big contributors, then you know what? It's okay. You could deal with a 5th round pick or whatever not working out the way you hoped, especially if 2 running backs the next year do. So I'm not going to sweat that out. Hassan Reddick. Now that's something that's making us sweat just a little bit, right? Here's the thing. He didn't come to the voluntary camp. I have no issue with that. And the rumor is that, he wants a new contract and now he wants $30 million a year. Now here's the thing. With the only mandatory portion of the spring program for players is a minicamp, that goes from June 11th to June 14th. So it's just a week away. Now, Robert Saleh has said he expects Reddick to be there, but he has not talked to Reddick. And to me, that doesn't seem right. I mean, has Saleh attempted to reach out to Reddick? Has Reddick, reached out to Saleh? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Mess, the one thing I would say with that is he wasn't a free agent. He was under contract to another team. So, yeah, he was part of the Eagles. So I don't know if that really would have been possible. Maybe you do a physical or something like that, but I don't know if the Jets, really even had the option or the ability to work him out. I don't know if that was all at all possible. Now, I would be a little surprised to think the way that Robert Saleh prides himself on communicating with players, I find it hard to believe he would not have reached out to Reddick. Maybe Saleh was too busy texting Joe Beningo. I don't know what was going on. I think this may end up being a non-story, but it can be put to bed in a week. If he shows up for minicamp, then no one's going to remember that this ever happened. But you also have to wonder about Joe Douglas. I know, Dana. I quickly pulled up an old school helmet there. Yeah, when we get to the next segment, yeah, you'll see the new helmet. So I just kind of switched it up a little bit. But yeah, we'll see what winds up happening with Reddick. But you do wonder, Joe Douglas expected that there would be a contract. I would think Douglas talked with the representatives, with Reddick's agent, to say, hey, what's he looking for with the contract, if that's something that we're open to. So we'll see what winds up happening. But again, if I have my pick on who gets the extension, Hassan Reddick or Michael Carter, it's Michael Carter II. No doubt about it. All right, one other thing I want to talk about in the news, one more part of this news cycle here. I listened to Morgan Moses get interviewed on the Jets website. First of all, very, very entertaining interview. Moses is just the kind of guy you want to go hang out with and, have brunch with on a Sunday afternoon, go to church, have some brunch, take down a couple of mimosas or whatever it is that he might drink with brunch. Bloody Marys, probably the Bloody Marys with maybe a couple strips of bacon in them. I think that'd be a whole lot of fun with MM. But he said something when Eric Allen asked him about his time in Baltimore and what that was like for him. And he said something very interesting. I'm going to read this quote for you guys, okay? Here's what Moses said about his time in Baltimore. I got to learn how a functional organization really does it, how to compete at a Super Bowl level every day. It was so much fun to come to work and play football, end quote. So what Moses is saying is, first of all, he called the Ravens functional, which to me means the Jets weren't. That's first and foremost. Under Bowles and McCagnon. And he said the Ravens knew how to leave the distractions aside and focus on the task at hand. And what he also implied with that was the coaches and the organization somehow, I don't know how, but made an environment where the players could focus on the game and have fun. That's coaching, and that's also mentorship from your veterans as well. So the fact that Moses is now one of those veterans, he has seen how it's done properly. I'm very excited that he can bring that leadership into the Jets locker room. And even if it is for only 1 year, then, hey, that is going to be one very valuable year of leadership. So, the more I hear about the Moses trade, the more I like it. And, hey, he said if as far as his pec goes, if there was a game today, he would play. I'm like, well, yeah, he would play. He played all of last season with a torn pec. He was blocking. He tore his pec blocking Myles Garrett, for heaven's sakes. So, yeah, so I'm very excited. Once this offensive line, this entire OL is together, Smith, Simpson, Tippmann, AVT, Moses, it is going to be a very, very happy day for Jets Nation. All right, so let's take let's call it a day for the news. And now what we're going to do is get into the main event of the evening. We are going to count down from 10 to 1. The 10 most indispensable, let's make this a little bit larger, the most indispensable 2024 New York Jets. And yeah, I think we might have some time. So maybe a little bit later, I'll throw the link in if anybody wants to jump on for just a few minutes. Yeah, I think it's about time that we did that. So I'm going to kind of do the countdown. Then I'll put the link up like a minute or two before we do that. All right. So number 10 on my list. Now again, one more thing. I'm not talking about the best Jets. I'm not ranking them from 10 to the best Jet, just who I think is most valuable. And number 10 for me is Elijah Vera Tucker, because the run game has dominated with him in this lineup. Without him, the running backs get abused behind the line of scrimmage. Now, Brees ran very well in 22 and 23 when Vera Tucker was in the lineup. With Vera Tucker, check this out, 6.08 yards per carry. When AVT is out, 3.97 yards per carry, over 2 yards. Crazy. when he does. We've got the great David Garrard here. Oh my God, it's like homecoming, David. I'm doing well, man. Hey, I'm down here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Moved here almost a month ago. It doesn't feel like I still feel brand new here. But yeah, life is good. And yeah, we have made a few changes to the show. We're going to get into those a little bit later on tonight. But yeah, trivia will be coming up later as always. And of course, reminder, guys, please hit that thumbs up. We might do the Bobby wheel. I might name the wheel after Bobby. I don't know. Maybe, hopefully he won't sue me if I use his name, but hey, who knows? Yeah, but David, I believe, roots for just about all the same teams that I do. I'm extra glad that he is here. And so with AVT, the other thing to talk about is the pass blocking. Now, the funny thing with that is it depends what website you go to. Whether you go to, say, PFF or Next Gen Stats, PFF is very critical of his pass blocking. Next Gen Stats considers him a little bit better than average. There is a place for improvement there, but here's the thing. There is not a lot of depth on the interior part of the line, and I think without AVT, this line is going to be in a good deal of trouble. I thought about putting Joe Tippmann in the spot, but because of AVT, we have seen the difference in the run game when he's in versus when he's out. That's why I gave AVT the edge with the number 10 spot on my list. Appreciate you too, Dave. Yeah, hey, here every Wednesday, buddy. Here every freaking Wednesday, except when I had to move and had no internet. All right, number 9 for me is Breece Hall, number 20. And hey, Nathaniel Hackett knows how to use him now. Paul Hackett Jr. I may as well call him Paul Hackett Jr. for crying out loud. But we all know what a special weapon Breece Hall is. And this year, the blocking will be in place. Last year, Hall averaged 4.5 yards per carry. But what makes that so amazing is that was with the worst, most godforsaken run blocking in the NFL. And that's just not my opinion. That's ESPN Analytics run block win rate metric. The Jets were the worst run blocking team in all of football. And Hall still got 4.5 yards per carry. Plus, he had 13 different linemen blocking for him, or at least trying to block for him. I know some of them weren't exactly blocking, including future Hall of Famers Xavier Newman, Chris Glazer, Jake Hansen. He did what he could. But to me, Hall is definitely a top 5 running back in the NFL. You know, to me, he's up there with McCaffrey and you name the guy. I mean, I don't think he's name whatever running back you love. To me, McCaffrey's up there. He's probably the best, but Hall is not that far off. Now, you do have a little bit more depth than you did last year. That was not the case. I mean, to think last year, the depth behind Hall, who was coming off a torn ACL, was Dalvin Cook, who basically needed a walker to get out on the field, and Izzy Abanikanda, a totally unproven rookie. Now you've got 2 legit running backs who have a good deal of experience, who have played for a long time. So that gets me very excited. And now Abanikanda is down to 4th on the depth chart instead of 3rd. So as great as Breece is, if he were to get hurt again, God forbid, I still think they have some running backs who could do it. But again, there is no running back on this team, and very few in football, that have the skills that number 20 does. Nate already giving his thoughts. Top 10, 4 offensive linemen. Okay. Rodgers, Garrett, Breece, Quinnen, Mosley, and Sauce. I don't think it's going to be that different. I got a few differences there. Yeah, Dane immediately saying, no special teamers. Won't need them this year. Hey, we won't need a punter. We're never going to be punting with this offense, right? I remember, seriously, when John Madden did his all-time All-Madden team, he refused to put a punter on the team because he said, with this offense, we'll never be punting. So same thing with the Jets offense in 2024, right? All right. So that's number 9. Yeah, you know what, though? I mean, the thing I'm going to say, Dane, kickers, you never know what they're going to be from year to year. There'll always be a few kickers out there on the market that you can pick up. You just got to pick up the right one. So, yeah, Greg, is Zerline huge? Yeah, of course. Yeah, he most certainly is. But you never know year to year. Unless your name is like Justin Tucker or Harrison Butker, you just don't know. So, all right, let's go to number 8. Now, I'm going to put a player in here that I don't think as many folks might have thought of, but I think he is this valuable. I'm going to go to the defensive side of the ball with number 8, and I am going to go to the defensive line, and I am putting on Jermaine Johnson. That's right. No other defensive end on this team plays the run and the pass quite this well and has this high of an upside. So Johnson last year took over the number one edge spot on the Jets. He took more snaps than any other player did. Johnson played 748 snaps last year. Second was John Franklin Myers with 626, and he's not here anymore. Okay? A couple of grades I'm going to give you from PFF real quick. I know PFF can be annoying, but just to give you an idea. His overall defensive grade, 83.0. That's 17 out of 92 edge rushers. Run defense grade, 71. That's 28 out of 92. His tackling grade, 69.8. That's 10th out of 92. Pressures generated, 56. That's 27th out of 92. Keeping in mind, he does not play anywhere near as many snaps as a Myles Garrett or some of the other, or Nick Bosa, or the great edge rushers around football. Hassan Reddick as well. How can we forget him, right? Sacks generated, 9, 28th out of 92. Missed tackle percentage. This is a big one. Missed tackle percentage, 7.5. That ranks 11th out of 92. Defensive stops, 31 total. That's 28th out of 92. And he forced 2 forced fumbles, tied for 14th in the league. The point of this is Jermaine Johnson, we saw him take a step up last year. He could take an even bigger one this year because now he knows what he could do. He knows what he's capable of because he's already proved it. And now he is, in my mind, the dominant edge rusher on this team. Great as Reddick is, great as he's been, Johnson, to me, is probably going to play even more because he's got those young legs. So I got to tell you, I'm pretty excited what JJ could be. If you're looking for a sleeper Pro Bowler on this team that not a lot of people are going to talk about, JJ could be a player to watch. So I am pretty excited. I'd rather replace Morstead with a free agent than Rodgers, Garrett, and Quinnen. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, just getting a free agent punter. Yeah, you could always do it. And like we talked about a week ago when we graded the position rosters, Thomas Morstead was by all accounts pretty much in the middle of the league in just about every punting stat, whether it's inside the 20, whether that's net yards per punt, touchback percentage, all that stuff. Morstead was pretty much right in the middle. I just think we love him because of his story. He's been around a long time, and he stands up for the Jets, whether it's on social media or wherever else he has to do it. So I think we just love Morstead for who he is as much, if not more so, than how he punts. Just my thoughts on that. All right, number 7 for me, and this one might make you cringe a little bit, but I think he's this important to this offense. I'm going to go to the wide receivers, and I'm not talking about the top receiver on the team. I'm talking about one of the newest receivers on the team, and it's Mike Williams. I use this picture on purpose, and Dave, you notice I got the new Jets logo in there, as he's burning Lamar Jackson for a touchdown. It just goes to show you, Henry Ruggs was not the only wide receiver who burned Jackson to a crispy pulp. Okay, but Mike Williams brings to this offense what no one else can bring: the catch rate, the ability to high point those passes. Here's a stat. Since 2021, Williams has amassed 100 yards or more in 28% of his games. That is 10th in the NFL. That is ahead of such players as Stephon Diggs, Amari Cooper, T. Higgins, just to give you a few names. And as recently as 2021, he had over 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. And he has a contested catch rate north of 54%, which is really, really good. And this is going to allow Wilson to work the middle of the field a little bit more, which he is really, really good at. So Williams and Wilson, to me, can be one of the best receiving duos in football, especially with one of the greatest of all time throwing them the ball. Now, outside of Mike Williams, what other receiver do the Jets have who could do what he could do? You know, Malachi Corley, very excited about him. Completely different type of wide receiver. Alan Lazard, please spare me the pain. Okay. By the way, Lazard, he was number 12 on this list, as if. But after that, what are we talking about? We're talking about the kids. We're talking about Irv Charles, Jason Brownlee, guys like that. Sorry, they got to prove something. You know, if Mike Williams does miss a game, what are we talking about? It's probably going to be like a Brownlee playing on the outside because Corley is a slot receiver. So, to me, Williams' health is going to be paramount to this offense working the way we want it to. Plus, he can block pretty well, too. And let's not forget how bad that red zone offense was. It was a historically bad red zone offense. Mike Williams is going to be one of the reasons why that turns around this year. Dane, I ignore you all the time. I thought about ignoring that as well, but that kind of would have defeated the purpose, wouldn't it? Raleigh, North Carolina behind enemy lines. Buy up those location-restricted tickets. Oh, won't that be great? I did go to Game 4, Rangers Hurricanes, a loss, of course. But wouldn't it be hysterical? So I am planning to go to the game in Charlotte. The preseason game, the date has been announced. It's a Saturday night. I definitely plan to be at that game. Wouldn't it be funny, though, if they restricted the tickets to Carolina residents and didn't allow Jets fans to come down? Wouldn't that be hysterical? That would be pretty good. But yeah, I've never really been to Charlotte, except to fly out. Guys, let me ask you a question. I'm asking you a question about the Queen City, one of the two Queen Cities, Charlotte being one, Cincinnati being the other one. But how many people do you know say, we're going on vacation? Where are you going? Charlotte, North Carolina. That has never been spoken in the history of humankind, ever. People go to Charlotte for one of two reasons, for a work trip or to fly out of the airport. They're connecting through it on American Airlines. That is pretty much it. Nice city from everything I've heard. A lot of cool places. I've already got 2 or 3 restaurants I plan to check out already. One of them is called Duckworth. They got like this big pretzel bread with like a house-made beer mustard, which looks unbelievable. Yeah, Duckworth, I think, is definitely a restaurant that I plan to hit up. There's one in the Uptown section where Bank of America Stadium is. But in Charlotte, that's going to be fun. I definitely plan to go to that game. Hey, the parking might cost more than the game ticket, right? Would it really shock anybody? So, yeah, I mean, the worst team in the NFL playing a preseason game against like a non-conference opponent. I mean, I guarantee you at least a third of that stadium will be Jets fans. I have no doubt in my mind about it. So, all right, so that's number 7, Mike Williams. What's his name? You go to Charlotte because you work for a bank in Jersey, and they're downsizing, so you move to Charlotte to keep your job. Yeah, because everybody's trying to get out of the Northeast pretty much. Yeah, I mean, hey, I left, 27 years ago. I knew. Yep, I knew. All right, let's go to number 6. Back to the defense we go, and I've got C.J. Mosley as my number 6 most indispensable Jet. An absolute surefire tackler, super reliable. He is the quarterback of the defense. His mental capacity is fantastic. He is a constant presence. After the injuries early in his Jets tenure, he has missed just 1 game in the last 3 years. Now, Javian Sherwood is there, and obviously we know the big playability of Quincy Williams, but Quincy and CJ, they're like the yin to the yang of each other. Quincy makes the flashy plays, great speed, very explosive. CJ's not going to do that, but he is going to make the tackles he needs to make. Rarely makes mistakes. I'm not going to say never. He has been known to jump offside at an opportune time or two. Still haven't forgotten that. But to me, CJ Mosley, you can't replace his experience, his head knowledge, and his leadership. I made sure to get a photo on here where that C was very visible because he is the captain of the New York Jets defense. And, we talk about the rotations on the defensive line. They don't rotate the linebackers. And I'll tell you what, CJ does not come off the field for this defense. It does not happen. All right. So that is numbers 10 through 6. Now let's jump into the top 5. I think for the most part, here's what I think with the top 4, most of us are going to be on the same page, but I got somebody at number 5 who I mentioned briefly earlier, who I think is enormous as well. And it is, believe it or not, slot corner, Michael Carter II, a 5th-round stud. If I was writing his resume, that would be the title, 5th-round stud. Through 3 years, he has cost the Jets a total of $2.6 million. Unbelievable. Now he's 25 years old. He's hitting his prime. This year he's making $3.4 million. Now, if you look at every slot corner in the league, here is where MC2 ranks. Yards allowed. He's allowed 195 yards last year. That was first. He allowed 32 receptions last year. That was first. He allowed 0.54 yards per snap. First as well. He had an 83.3 PFF coverage grade. first among all slot corners as well. He took 1 penalty all year, first among all slot corners. Look at the Week 6 game against the Eagles. That game when Sauce was out, I think DJ was out as well, and the Jets had to play a bunch of backups at cornerback. Carter played in that game, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, DeAndre Swift, Devontae Smith, and Kenneth Gainwell. He allowed 27 yards on 7 targets. Carter is him, as they say nowadays. If it's not Carmelo Hayes, it's Michael Carter II. He is amazing, and it's no wonder that one of the biggest topics lately of the offseason is extend the man, extend this guy. Teron Johnson got a good deal from Buffalo. Kenny Moore got a good deal from Indianapolis. They got about $10 million each. You got to give Carter $11 million a year, and you got to give him a good 3-4 year contract. He is that good. I know we're not going to keep DJ Reed and Sauce, Reed, and Carter, but to me, Sauce and Carter are non-negotiables. Carter cannot go. A slot corner, as the league has become such a heavy passing offense, the slot corner is one of the most important positions on the field, and it's very hard to get a great one, especially when you don't have that sideline to help you out like an outside corner has. So to me, after Carter, what do we have? Isaiah Oliver? That's probably about it. Without Carter, it's pretty much Isaiah Oliver. I don't think Javelin Guidry's coming back anytime soon. There's a blast from the past and Javelin Guidry, right? So I got to go with MC2 with my number 5 most valuable Jet. Now, number 4 for me is going to be Sauce Gardner. Now, Sauce, we all know what an amazing talent he is. We know how great he is. He has, in the last 2 years, a 92.1 coverage grade. He has allowed 0.53 yards per coverage snap, both of which rank first among all cornerbacks in the NFL. Now, Sauce supposedly will travel a little bit more against the other team's best wide receiver. He's not expected to do that every week, so it'll be interesting to see how his numbers change when he's doing that. But here's the thing. We still saw the Jets D play well against Philly when Sauce and DJ did not play Week 6. I mean, what was our starting corners? Well, MC2, Bryce Hall, and who was the other guy? Tay Hayes? Was that the other guy? Tay Hayes? I think that was the player. So great as Sauce is, and there's no denying of it, we've still seen this defense play well against a very good offense when he did not play in a game. So that's why I've only got him at number 4. Maybe a little bit controversial, but that's my thoughts. Number 3 is Garrett Wilson. Now, Wilson broke 22 tackles last year. He is second to only Deebo Samuel in that category. So for everything else we know about, the speed, the starts, the stops, the amazing catchability, he is, yes, Dave, that's right, Craig James. Craig James was a special teams player. I think he got a few snaps in there, but I think Tay got most of the snaps that game. Yeah, Craig James. Sounds like an 80s sitcom star, Craig James. I don't know. But we know that the great connection, Aaron Rodgers loves throwing the ball to Garrett Wilson. And Wilson has put up just amazing numbers with Zach Wilson, Chris Trevler, Joe Flacco, Tim Boyle, and Trevor Siemian throwing him the football. You can tell Wilson's been getting frustrated. And to me, he's one of those players who hates losing more than he loves winning. And I want more players like that on my football team. So I'm very excited to see what Garrett does when he is not the sole focus of the receiving core. Adding Mike Williams will make a big difference. Adding Malachi Corley will make a big difference. And Aaron Rodgers just makes every other receiver better anyway. He's going to make Ty Conklin and these other tight ends look even better than they already are. But Garrett is still the best wide receiver that they have. But I would not call him the most indispensable Jet, especially if you do have Williams and Corley to go to. After that, though, yikes. It's pretty much Lazard, Brownlee, Xavier Gibson as well. Gibson actually might be a player to step up if needed. So Gibson, I got a little more confidence in Gibson than I do some of the other guys. All right, then number 2. All right, number 2 for me. If you can believe this, I'm going to the quarterback. I'm going to put Aaron Rodgers as number 2 and only number 2. The doubt is out there I've seen ranking systems lately where Drake May is rated as a higher quarterback than Aaron Rodgers for 2024. I don't know what these people were on Maybe they were doing some of the darkness retreats as well. Maybe they took a few mushrooms as well. But Aaron Rodgers has just the 17th highest cap hit of all quarterbacks. I think it's 17 million. Like Deshaun Watson's making like 50 million, for crying out loud. It's crazy. Quick hello to the great Ryan Jett. Good to see you as well. Hey, it's good to see you in the chat. I'm glad you're here, brother. I am glad you're here. Yeah, so if Rodgers were to get hurt, though, I think the Jets offense could still function because you do have Breece Hall and you have one of the best backup quarterbacks in football in Tyrod Taylor. You have a top running back. You have a revitalized offensive line. Yes, the offense would take a step back, a significant step back, but I still say the offense could still run. Nate, I'm not making this up. I'm not making it up. Rodgers was ranked like 20th and Drake May was ranked 19th. Drake May won't even start. Drake May won't even start for his own team. It'll be Jacoby Brissett most likely. So, yeah, I was laughing hysterically at that moment. Some people just want to hate Aaron Rodgers. Just, they're doing that because they don't like the person. It has nothing to do with the player, in my opinion anyway. But I'm going to put Rodgers at number 2. So if he's number 2, well, then who could be number 1? Well, I'll tell you what. Aaron Rodgers is, in my mind, the most indispensable offensive player. I'm willing to bet Bill Belichick. I'm willing to bet Belichick. Hey, it's fine with me, Dane. People can project all they want. It's almost like leading up to the draft. It's like, okay, this is the way this draft is going to be. That's how this draft is going to be. Marvin Harrison. Then all of a sudden, Marvin Harrison, top wide receiver. Then a week before, maybe it's Roma Dunze. Maybe it's Malik Neighbors. Yeah, some of those guys are better because people want to get attention. They want to get clicks. That's all they care about because, their articles aren't getting a whole lot of attention. So they got to get all crazy. That's what they got to do. That is the only logical explanation for why anybody would rank Drake May above Aaron Rodgers. That there's nothing else. And now we're seeing the same kind of thing here with these quarterback rankings that we did with the draft. So take all with honestly, guys, let's just take it with a grain of salt. It's funny. Let's just laugh about it. There's a lot of things that could aggravate us, but it's so silly. I gotta laugh. Dane, I don't know anybody like that. Maybe you do. I don't. Yes. So, certain lot of people on Twitter. That's right. All right. So number 1 for me, the most indispensable Jet this season is Quinnen Williams, number 95. I ask you this question. What do the Jets have at defensive tackle after him? So last year, he had only 5.5 sacks. That was down from the 12 he had in 2022, but he generated 70 pressures last year. That was 18 more than he did in 2022. He had 10 more defensive stops, and he became the best run defender in the league at the defensive tackle position. By pretty much all accounts, Williams was the best run stopper that the NFL had to offer. And what Williams said, I read an interview with him, watched one of his press conferences, and he said, my main area, now I'm going to read this quote, but just imagine he said the word man every 3 to 4 words. Because, you hear, should I read this Quinnen Williams style? Like he was actually, like you would actually hear Quinnen Williams talk, or should I just read the actual words? I don't know what I should do here, but I'll do it a little bit of Quinnen style. Just a little. My main area of focus, man, has just been getting a bigger bag, man, when it comes down to pass rushing, man. I feel like I do some things good in pass rush, man, but just getting a bigger bag, man, and more tools that I could use on Sunday, man. That was really my main goal, man. Man, I've been working on right side pass rushing, man, and left side pass rushing, man, so that I could be like a Swiss Army knife, man. I'm serious. Quinnen, I love you. But stop saying man every 3 words. You want a good drinking game, take a shot every time Quinnen Williams says the word man. Oh, my God. It's pretty scary. But after Quinnen, what do we have? Javon Kinlaw, Solomon Thomas, Leaky Fotu. If you want to go a little bit deeper, maybe Leonard Taylor. But you know what? Thomas came over from the Jets a few years ago as a first-round disappointment. Kinlaw basically doing the same thing. And Thomas has kind of worked his way into being a useful player. I'm not going to say a very good player, but he's been okay. He's been okay. And maybe the Jets are counting on the same thing with Kinlaw. Kinlaw basically replacing Quentin Jefferson. very good pass rusher, but an anemic run stopper. Kinlaw is about as bad at that. And Fotu is basically taking the Al Woods role. So unlike when the Jets had, say, Sheldon Rankins here a couple years ago, you have other defensive tackles who are specialists. Okay? They have certain roles that they fulfill, but the other team's offense can game plan based on who's on the field and who's off the field. And as we know, the way the Jets rotate their defensive linemen, I don't know. I'm a little bit worried about it because – after that, he's only playing 65 to 70% of the reps. That's the issue with it. By the way, if anybody wants to jump on for a few minutes, I just put the link there. So if you do want to jump in for a couple minutes, feel free to. But the link is right there in the chat. And we'll do trivia in a little bit. And, let me know what you think of the rankings or just whatever's on your mind or just any topic about the Jets or about sports in general. And by the way, give respect to Caitlin Clark. Please. Can these WNBA women just shut the hell up already? They're the reason they're flying in private charters and playing in big arenas. And geez, I just had that was just a quick aside. That was like foreign out there. But yeah, to me, without Quinnen, I'm very worried. I'm already a little bit worried about the run defense up the middle to begin with. When Quinnen's not on the field, I don't know what they're going to do. I really, really don't. So. All right, guys. Well, I'll tell you what. That is it for the main content tonight. That is the top 10. But if anybody wants to jump on, the link is right there. You're welcome to join for a little bit. And let's see how we're doing on the likes real quick. Let's see how we're doing there. Typically 15 likes, so we spin the wheel. Looks like we're about 8 or 9 likes right now. So, guys, let's go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. We want to get the channel out there, get the show out there, and let's spread it. Let's get out there like a virus. And the march to 1,000 subscribers continues. By the way, we're at 916 currently, and I want to thank everybody who has taken the time to subscribe and watches the videos. You guys freaking rock. I appreciate it very, very much. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and do the trivia right now. I think it's 10:51. So it is that time of the night when, after a hard week of research, where I have busted open the books, I have pulled up the websites, I challenge you, the most loyal fans of the most loyal fan base in the NFL, the New York Jets fans. How much do you know about your favorite team? So if you are ready, let's play Jets Trivia. I don't think Bobby likes Santa Claus or puppies or pizza. That's okay. I think she had to step out from a phone. Yep, trivia time. There we go. All right. So here's what we're going to do tonight. Now, if you were on the show Sunday when I was on with Nick and with VR, we had a great time. We were on for about 3.5 hours Sunday night, and it left me pretty beat for work on Monday morning, I can tell you. But dang, we had a lot of fun. But we talked about jersey numbers. The list that I came up with was the 15 most successful jersey numbers in Jets history. So we went around, we did a snake draft and, ranked them basically 1 to 15. What jersey we were taking first. I had the first pick. I took number 24. In my mind, the most successful number in the history of the Jets. Freeman McNeil, Johnny Sample, Ray Mickens, Darrelle Revis, and a couple of mop-ups. So that's kind of what we did. So I thought I would do another trivia question tonight, and this one would be on jersey numbers. Tired of Bobby? Are you really Bobby? I'm just wondering. Actually, you're probably not, because and Ty Law as well, right? Yeah, because if you were Bobby, you would already be in the chat. You already be you have your video up. I already know it. How could you not like pizza if you're lactose intolerant, like my dad is? If you can't have the cheese and stuff like that. Some people, I think they like it. They just can't handle it, right? And pizza to me is fine until you start putting pineapple and olives on it. Once you do that, I'm basically out. But Yeah, and down in Raleigh, you may have heard other people talk about. We got the Fara Pizza, which is a very famous pizzeria in Brooklyn. That's in downtown Cary, North Carolina, not far from the Amtrak station. And I could get over there in about 10 minutes if I wanted to. It ain't cheap at all, but it's really, really good. But I did find an amazing Mexican restaurant down here called Salt and Lime Cabo Grill. They got like 6-7 types of guacamoles and 7 or 8 salsas and about 12, 13 types of tacos. Fantastic place. I want to try their surf and turf burrito. It's got steak and shrimp inside of it. Looks really, really good. I will say this. I could take a little bit of green olives like in a salad, like in an antipasto, something like that, or a muffaletta in New Orleans. But if it's black olives, no black olives under any circumstances for me. Pineapple on pizza, rest of the maker. Harlan, I will say this. Here's how I really feel about the pineapple if I'm going to get granular. Pineapple on a pizza with tomato sauce is absolutely abominable. It is nasty. It does not work together. It's like ice cream and motor oil together. It just doesn't work, right? Not good. But I did go to like a food truck, and they did like the Southwest pizza. It had no sauce on it. It was just like an olive oil base, some pulled pork, roasted red onions, cilantro, some spicy peppers, and they had some roasted pineapple on top. So if you think like an El Pastor taco, the pork and pineapple, it was the same thing, but it was on a pizza. And that was good. A little bit of pineapple, not too much. I was like, okay, I could do that. But it was more like a flatbread really than a pizza. It didn't really have like a sauce on it. So that's about as far as I can go with the pineapple. But when it's tomato sauce, actually, you know what? When it's tomato sauce, if somebody tries to give me a pizza with the pineapple on it, here's how I feel. Yeah, I just want to make that sound for them. Hey, not bad. Pulled pork on a pizza is not that bad. Just not with regular marinara sauce. So, but I get it, bro. I get it. All right, guys, let's do the trivia question. So you guys know the rules. I give you 5 minutes. I set the timer for 5 minutes. I'm going to put the question on the screen and put your answers, aside from Lee Cravat, into the chat. So let's see if you can get tonight's question correct. Name the last 4 Jets to wear number 96. Your time starts now. Harlan doesn't eat. That makes sense. Okay. I got you, man. I got you. I guess sausage, bacon, no good either, Harlan. Got to leave those aside too. Ribs, is it pork in general for personal and religious reasons? I would think. And so, hey, God bless, man. You do what's right for you. It's okay. Okay, let's see. Dane O with the first guess, and he goes with Muhammad Wilkerson. That is correct. Very well done. Yep, and that is the 4th most recent player to wear it. Ryan Jett also said Mo Wilk. Very good. Dano is going with Ellis. Which Ellis are you referring to? I'll tell you what, whether it's Sean or Kenrick, that is not correct. Ryan Jett goes Tony Ely. Went deep on that one. Beef ribs. Good stuff. Beef ribs are expensive as hell. But when they're done right, they are amazing. I feel that way about ribs too. You guys know I love cooking, but ribs are a challenge. If you don't have like a smoker, whether it's Borf. Ladies and gentlemen, the newest combination of beef and pork, we present to you Borf. Coming soon to a supermarket near you, right next to the Spam. Holy shit, what am I doing tonight? Yeah, but beef ribs, pork ribs, I've even seen lamb ribs. So yeah, I would definitely do those because I enjoy lamb a lot. Nate goes with Al Woods. Is Al Woods correct? You bet it is. Very well done by Nate. All right, so Ryan's got one. Dane got the first one. Nate got the next one. Then we've got Ryan Jett going with Henry Anderson. Is it Henry Anderson? Oh, yes, it is. So we've got Mo Wilk, Henry Anderson, and Al Woods. That's 3. Dane is going with Kenrick Ellis, who, by the way, played college football at Hampton University, the only Hampton player the Jets have ever drafted. No, Kenrick, I believe, I want to say it was 98. I'm pretty sure. No, Kenrick wore 93, actually. 93. Yeah, Nate put it up there too. Yeah. Kenrick Ellis. Yep, 93. All right, so we've got three of them: Mo Wilk, Henry Anderson, and Al Woods. And we got 2.5 minutes to go here, guys. So who else was it? I can tell you this: Mo Wilk was the one who wore it of the four. That was the one most long ago. So it was more recent than Muhammad Wilkerson, if that makes sense. As we're coming up on an hour here. That's right. No Googling. Don't check the Glenn Encyclopedia. Leave your Google machine alone. Yeah, Nate. Yeah, not in the Rex era. Yeah, well, Rex and Tannenbaum drafted Wilkerson, right? Yeah, they drafted Wilkerson. Yeah, right around that AFC Championship era. So yeah, Rex did have Mo throughout his time. Not the whole time, but once he had him, Yep, more recent than Wilkerson. Yep, there was one other Jet. And I believe he's still in the league. Pretty sure. Just going to double check a couple of stats. Yep. Okay. Yeah, well, 2.5 years. Yeah, still hurts. Ryan Jett, think we got you on this one? Okay, well, hey, we got 3 out of 4 so far. Less than a minute to go, everybody. As I get a fake Facebook friend request from some random girl in Korea. Yeah, sure. He was a defensive lineman, no trickery? Yes, he was a defensive lineman. There's no tomfoolery here, guys. Yeah, definitely a defensive lineman, I can assure you. And it was inside the last couple of years. It was in the Saleh years. Saleh Douglas years. So we're not going that far back, really. 10 seconds. It is the last 5 years. It is a defensive lineman. All right, that's 5 minutes. All right, I'm going to give you guys another minute or two to see if we can get this. Ryan Jett says, "Is it Tanzel Smart?" No, that's a good guess, but not Tanzel. Yeah, Tanzel was 79, I think. Denzel Smart, yeah. I'd rather have Maxwell Smart. I love Get Smart. Old show, but I love Get Smart. Anyway. All right, I'll stop there. We don't da-da-da here. If there's any Get Smart fans, you know what I'm talking about. Denzel Washington. I think he could have gotten a tryout. Okay, let's see. He played a couple of games for the Jets about 3 years ago. He is not currently with the team, obviously. He's still in the league, but kind of hanging around the league, if that makes sense. Edward Platt played the Chief. Bernie Capel played Siegfried. Holland! This is New York Sports WickerMedia! Yeah, you know what? That's the thing. If I have to time anybody out for being like rude or abusive, I should put him in the cone of silence. Cone of silence would be great if I could have one. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. All right, Dane. All right, Dane's given up. All right, guys, I'm going to give you one more hint. He was drafted by the Jets. This is a drafted defensive lineman who played about 4 or 5 games with the Jets. Still kind of a liked Jet. This is not a hated guy. But he's been with another AFC team for a couple years. How about that? For a couple years, but kind of on the outside looking in. The cause of the silence, I don't know how many people we want to let out of the closet. Is that for June or something? I don't know. Yeah, you know what? With all the copyright bullshit that you have to deal with here on YouTube, yeah, I might get. If I say cone of silence, I might get a copyright violation. Unbelievable. It's like there's a place you go. He's like, don't do this, don't do that. You get to find out the hard way. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and give you the answer. So you had 3 correct. The last 4 Jets to wear 96. It was Mo Wilk, Henry Anderson, Al Woods, and Jonathan Marshall, drafted a couple years ago, played 4 games with the Jets in 2021. Those are the only games he's played in the NFL, but he's still technically with Pittsburgh. A lot of Jet fans have been like, maybe we could bring him back. But it hasn't happened yet. But you know what? If it were to happen, not the worst thing in the world. But then again, they have Leonard Taylor. They got a younger, I think, probably better version of him anyway. Yeah, it's like, oh, Jonathan Marshall, right? It's like that's the name. It's like it's easy to forget, but it's like, yeah, he kicked around for about 2 years. It was Marshall, so yeah. All right, but hey, good job, guys. Yep, this was fun. All right, so I want to say one other thing here before we let's get this. We'll get the trivia. Oh, Marshall Mathers. Oh, okay. Not the biggest hip hop fan in the world, but I follow what you're saying. Okay. All right. Well, I do have one announcement to make in regards to the future of the show. So here's what we're going to do. I put a poll out a couple days ago saying, would you prefer that we keep the show on Wednesday, keep it at 10 o'clock, keep it late, or would you rather I move it up to earlier in the evening? Because my work schedule has changed a little bit, and now I have the opportunity, we'll say, to do the show a little bit earlier. And the vote came in pretty overwhelmingly that you want the show to happen earlier on Wednesday. You want it at 6 p.m. So here's the thing. I'm home pretty much at 5:15 every day from work. I could do it. And this is going to have a couple of advantages to it. Number one, I'm not crossing over with Nick's show, with Nick and Jeremy's show. Because right now, you guys kind of have to make a decision in that 1 hour of crossover, that 10 to 11, what are you going to do? Stuff like that. This will allow us to change that. And also, it works a little bit better with my schedule. That way, I come home, decompress, and have to get myself back up again, get myself going again, only to go right to sleep and have to get up at 6 in the morning. So as far as doing this, we're going to do it starting July 3rd. So it's going to be in a couple of weeks. I'll be sending out reminders about it. I'll put a post up about it here and there. So I figured the night before the 4th of July, which is most people probably have off, I think I'd rather do that a little bit earlier anyway. But this way we have a couple of weeks to sort of build it up. I don't want to just blindside you with a sudden change. So, all right. So starting July 3rd, about a month from now, Wednesday Night Live will continue on Wednesdays, but it's going to go to 6 p.m. So that's what's going on. I think it's going to work better for this show. It'll get more eyes on it, and I think it's going to be better for you guys, for you in the chat, because now you can enjoy more content. So hey, maybe I'll be keeping you company on the ride home from work or whatever it is that you do while you're in the gym. Who knows? So, but I'll be bringing the same energy, no doubt about it. Roger. Hank, it's okay. It's okay. Oh, Chester McLaughlin? No, McLaughlin was a while ago. Yeah, McLaughlin was here like when Herman Edwards was here. Yeah, McLaughlin played with the Jets like in what, 2008? Oh, 2003. Yeah, McLaughlin was here in 2003. Yeah, he was here 21 years ago. I remember, and the guy passed away from heart issues, so I know this is rough, but I remember one night, Steve Summers had Ted Cottrell on WFAN. Now, Ted Cottrell was the Jets' defensive coordinator at the time, and the Jets had just signed McLaughlin, and Summers goes, "Is it true that the number that you are giving for Chester McLaughlin will be 747? And is it true that instead of a locker, you instead give him a hanger?" And Cottrell couldn't speak for about 30 seconds. He was laughing so hard. So it was pretty good. So every time I think about Chester McLaughlin, that's what I think about. He was a good player, just not a very good player with the Jets. He was a good Raider. But yeah, the Jets were his last team. Just passed away young. So, hey, Dave, thanks for the compliment. Appreciate it very much. All right. Yeah, the 4 most recent 96s. Hey, Roger. Yeah, Brooks Bollinger did not wear 96, and neither did Bubba Franks. Roger, I'm not. Roger, are you okay? Roger just came in and started naming random Jets. I'm not sure what he's doing. Well, thank you, assist. It is a good evening to you and how you be. And don't forget, with the StreamYard link on your fan on YouTube with New York Jets content from Raleigh, North Carolina. What is it? Roger's just playing name association at this point. Oh my gosh. Yeah, if anybody has any other questions or thoughts, I can stay on for a few minutes if we want. We still have a nice number of people here in the chat. Roger was looking for the wheel players. You're naming the ones that I'm. You know what? Here's the thing. If you got to rotate. I did rotate a few players in. I took out Corey Davis and Jeremy Curley, and I added Brett Favre, and I added Sean Green. So I did make some recent changes to the wheel. Let's do a quick check here on the likes. How are we doing on the likes here? Got 11 likes, guys. No. Guys, you know the deal. 15 likes to do the wheels. So we do the likes, we do them. If we don't get the likes, then we just have to wait till next time. So, all right, guys, we are going to. Oh, Dane has got a question. Pick one to secure for 2025: Reddick, Reed, or Tyron Smith. I think Smith is going to be the one to go. I would not say Smith because they have Fashanu, and I think he'll be ready to go. If I had to decide between Reed or Reddick, I think Reed is going to be more of a long-term investment, whereas Reddick would probably be maybe 2 years or so. Reed might be 3-4 years. But I would probably go. I got confidence in both coaching staffs to develop a good defensive end or a cornerback. To me, here's how I'm going to answer this question. And it's kind of a cop-out answer, but hey, what can I say? It depends on Quantas Stiggers. If Stiggers can develop, we see some good signs from him that he can develop this year into a legitimate quarterback going forward. Yeah, I would. Then I would let Reed go. I like Reed a lot. Reddick to me just feels like a mercenary. If I had to pick one, I think I'm going with DJ Reed. I think the Jets are going to have enough depth at defensive end between JJ and everybody else that's over there. I mean, you want them, but. Yeah, JJ McDonald. I still think Braden McGregor is going to be really helpful too. So watch out for Braden McGregor from Michigan. I think he can make the team. And Eric Watts from Connecticut. We didn't talk too much about him last week, but the Jets got some young defensive ends in the pipeline. So, yeah, I think I would take the risk of letting Reddick go, and I would keep Reed. And Tyron Smith, much as I like him, Fashanu, the goal is that he's ready to go. So, Dave, there you go. I answered your question. Roger F. gave 2 likes on the TV on one phone. Roger, you are amazing, my friend. All right, let's go back here. Let's check. We're at 14, guys. 14 likes. We need one more. We do that. I'll pull the wheel up. Somebody get Bobby. Get him to like it. Since we know that's the highlight of his week. Anyway, now we don't have to talk about Bobby. You want to talk about the people who are actually here, right? Rod, who was the worst free agent signing? Jason Taylor, Ty Law, or Ronnie Lott? Taylor was still pretty productive. It just made you feel sick inside because he was a Dolphin. Ty Law was okay. I still remember Ty Law dropping a big interception that game against Seattle in the Favre Mangini season. That bothered me. When he dropped an interception from who was it? Who was the quarterback? Seneca Wallace was the quarterback. I remember Seneca Wallace. And he dropped this touchdown, this interception that hit him in the hands. And I'm like, God dang it. If he was a Patriot, if he had the Patriot uniform on, he'd have caught the ball with his feet. It bothered me. Yeah, Law was fine. Ronnie Lott was just too old. And Lott was just on a bad team. I don't really remember too much of Ronnie Lott as a Jet. If I had to pick one, it might have been Ronnie Lott, but I think it's just because he was on some teams that weren't very good. Taylor and Law played on some good teams. So, The great Johnny Jimenez is here. Johnny, where you been, man? I'm glad you're here. Helping out with the Virginia Jets fans. So I am glad that you are here. Guys, I'll tell you what. We have hit 17 likes tonight. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. Is I am going to get the list ready to go, guys. I know, Seneca Walla. Yeah, I went deep on that one. That's what he said. All right, so we are going to. I'm gonna share my screen. Hopefully this works. There we go. All right, there we go, and there's the wheel. Okay, so now I got to follow the chat along through my phone. I'm going to give this a second, make sure that everything is up the way it needs to be. Yep, there we go. All right, guys, so we're going to do the 100 Random Jets wheel tonight. Thank you for all those thumbs up. So you know exactly what the deal is. I went all Art Monk on you. Okay, Raj, you're showing off now. There's Jet Smith dropping those wheel emojis. There you go. He's a channel member. He's got the access to drop a wheel emoji. Thank you very much, Mess. So you know what we do. We're going to spin the wheel 10 times, and we're going to create our top 10 list. Whatever player we land on, put what number you want him to be. Put it right down there in the chat, and we'll just kind of take the average of it, and we will put that player in the spot. And at the end of the 10 players, we'll see if we've got a list from best jet to worst jet. All right. Johnny Boy. No, Dimitri Patterson is not on the wheel. He didn't play. I can always put him back on, though, but we do have a few new additions to the wheel. So will we land on one of those players? Well, we will find out right now. Here we go, boys. Spin number 1 in 3, 2, 1. Round and round it goes, and we're coming to a stop. Oh, we got to stop on Nick Mangold, number 74, Ring of Honor member. Hopefully one day a future Hall of Fame inductee. I thought the jersey number would be retired, but it looks like it may not be. But it is being given out for the very first time since he played, and it's being given to Olu Fashanu. And I wouldn't be surprised if Mangold had to give him his blessing for it. All right, guys, so where on this top 10 list are we putting Nick Mangold? If it's anything other than the top 3, I'll be very disappointed. I'm seeing some 2s, some 3s. Harlan Abraham wants to put him at 1. Yeah, I mean, Mangold, was here for 10 years. I mean, it was absolute rock. Roger says he is not a great all-time player. You're putting him at a 6. Okay, Roger, in 9 spins, think about this. Look at some of the names on this list. Are we going to get 5 players who are better than Nick Mangold? Raj, I gotta put you on a curve. If you're saying a 6, that's a 3. Oh, the pain. All right, so I'm seeing, okay, got a couple 2s, 3s. I'd probably go about a 2 myself. I think that's pretty fair. Assist is going 2? Okay. All right, I'm going to go. All right, let's find out. All right, I'm going to go with a 2 for Nick Mangold. I think that's a very fair place to go. And even if we had him at a 1, I wouldn't have a problem with it. It just depends how the wheel goes that particular night. Roger F., you've been watching since 1968. Well, good for you. You have good memories. If you've seen 5 Jets better, 5 Jets on this wheel who are better than Nick Mangold, I'd be impressed by that. All right. Here we go. Let's go to spin number 2 in 3, 2, 1. As 3 people just left. Holy shit. Spin number 2, we land on, one of those number 24s. It is Ray Mickens. Very good slot corner for a long time with the Jets. All right, guys, this is going to be an interesting decision. Where are we going to put Ray Mickens? All right, guys, let's see those numbers in the chat. All right, I see a couple of 6s. All right. Yeah, I'd say somewhere right in the middle. I'd say 5 to a 6. That seems pretty reasonable, I would say. Okay. Dano going with a 5. All right. By the way, if anybody drops a super chat, put any number there that you want. I'll put the player there. So that's one cheap way to try to get the super chats. I know. All right, looks like we're pretty divided here. A 5 versus a 6. Roger, where are we putting him? Maybe a 13? Is that where I should put Ray Mickens? Where'd that go? All right, I think it's pretty much a toss-up. 5 versus. I'm going to go with a. I'm going to break the tie here. I'm going to go 6, just to give it a little bit of space. I think I'm going to go 6. But yeah, either way, unless somebody wants to break the tie, we got. I know not everybody in the chat has voted, so if anybody wants to put down a vote, you can make the difference. So let your voice be heard, because your voice matters. Roger going with a 5 to a 6. Roger, you're not helping us. All right, I'm going to go Ray Mickens as a 6. I don't know. Might come back and regret it, but hey, I had to make a decision. Okay. All right, that's spin number 2. Let's go to spin number 3 in 3, 2, 1. And we're going to come to a stop on Mo Lewis, number 57. One of the best linebackers the Jets ever had. So we got another heavy hitter up here. So the question is, Nick Mangold is at spot number 2. Where are we going to put Mo Lewis? Do you put him above him at number 1? Do you put him a little lower at number 3? Maybe even number 4? And no, the Drew Bledsoe hit should not come into play in your grade, but if it does, hey, what can we do? Jets Mess is going with a 3. Okay. Ryan Jett says 3 as well. All right, waiting for Dane and Harlan. Yeah, I was waiting for Harlan. He's got a 4, a little bit lower. Assist my suicide, cannot forgive him. Okay. But he went with a 3. That's still kind of, that's still pretty generous though, all things considered. Okay. Yep, I see that. Buttle, Mo, Kyle Clifton, Brian Cox, 5. Roger, you got a very interesting system here. We're not asking to say he's the 5th best linebacker, just of the players we're going to pick on this off the wheel. So, all right, I'll tell you, I think the 3s are going to take this one. All right, Mo Lewis will get spot number 3. Dane, we put Nick Mangold at 2, so spot number 2 is taken. So you'd have to go 1, 3, 4. The only spots taken are number 2 and number 6. So Dane, if you could give me another number real quick. All right, Roger's going with a 5, so a little bit lower. Going with the 3. Okay, I'm going to go with the 3s here. Yeah, I think 3 kind of has the edge on this. I think I'd go with the 3 as well. I think that's very fair. And somebody's screaming outside. Glad I'm on the 4th floor. Shut up! All right, let's go to spin number 4 in 3, 2, 1. Spin. Wow, sudden jump in the chat. Wow, a bunch of people just joined. They must have heard the wheels going on. Victor Green, man, we're getting some very good, solid Jets on this wheel so far tonight. All right, Victor Green, very good safety. So far we got Mangold at 2, Lewis at 3, Mickens at 6. I mean, for me, I got to put Victor Green myself personally in that 4 to 5 range. I got to put Green a little bit ahead of Mickens, but I can't put him up there with Mangold and Lewis. All right, so to me, it's either 4 or 5, but let's see what you say. This because, hey, I'm going with what you're going with. All right, I see a couple of 4s. I do see a vote for a 5 as well. Okay. So Victor Green, who sadly went to the Patriots after he left the Jets. Right now, we got an even split at the 4 and the 5, so we're going to need somebody to break that tie. Oh, yep. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, Mess said 5. Okay, got it. All right. Deduction for Lewis for ending Bledsoe and creating Tom Brady. I know. But we're done with Mo Lewis. We're on to Victor Green. So it looks like it's going to be a 4 or a 5. And, hey, everybody in the chat, I know there's a few of you in the chat who haven't voted. Let your voice be heard. Put down your vote. Where do you want Victor Green? It's most likely going to be spot 4 or spot 5. Yeah, green was just a good, subtly good jet. All right, you know what, Roger? I'm gonna let you be the difference maker on this one. You're saying a 6 for Victor Green, even though spot number 6 is already taken by Ray Mickens. But I will do this. I will give Victor Green spot number 5. Ryan Jett's going 5 as well. Okay, so Victor Green will be 5 tonight. All right, so quick recap. We've got Nick Mangold at 2. Number 3, we got Mo Lewis. Number 5, we got Victor Green. Number 6, we've got Ray Mickens. All right, so that's 4 spins down. Let's do spin number 5 in 3, 2, 1. And we are landing on Marty Lyons. Oh, member of the famed New York Stock Exchange, playing with the Jets and only the Jets for, I think, about 11, 12 years. Had 2 safeties forced in his career, only Jet to ever do that. Yeah, excellent. And now, of course, excellent radio analyst. Read his book. I read his book. It was an okay book. Not the best book I've ever read, but it was okay. And besides, the money went to his foundation, so I was happy to help the cause. Yeah, this is, I know, this is quite the wheel tonight, right? Mess is going 1. Dano's going number 1. Yeah, I mean, you can make the argument. You can really put Marty Lyons at 1 or 4, and it really would not be that bad. Yeah, there's Dane highlighting that lion. I like it. So basically with Marty Lyons, would you put him above Nick Mangold and Mo Lewis, or would you put him right below Nick Mangold and Mo Lewis? Yeah, because Mangold and Lewis are 2 and 3. So you got to put Lyons either above both of them or below both of them. That's the thing, guys. So I got a couple 1s. Harlan's going with the 4 spot. Assist My Suicide says, F it, give it a 4. Save me a spot for Curtis. Wow. Okay. Put Marty in an open spot. That's kind of how the wheel goes, Raj. Yeah, it started off really well. I mean, we can't have this many good Jets all the way through. That is like not possible. Yeah, we need some. We've had some diamonds. We need some turds soon. All right. Well, we got to go 1 or we got to go 1 or 4 because he's got to be above Victor Green and Ray Mickens. It's all about how the wheel turns out. So we got 4, 4, a 1, and a 1. We got a lot of split votes tonight, man. We're going to have to go to recounts or mail-in ballots or dead people voting. What, too soon? All right, guys. Give me one more vote. Come on. I know we got at least 9 people in the chat. We've had 4 votes. So I know somebody has not voted yet. And Roger put that said top 3. So yeah, somebody give me one more. Let's see one more vote. Next vote breaks the tie. So chat, let your voice be heard. Ryan Jett says 4. Okay, there it is. So we're going Marty Lyons at 4. Wow. I'll tell you what, to beat this, we're going to need maybe not Namath, but Maynard, Curtis, Christian Hackenberg. We'll need somebody really special to hit that number 1 spot. So I don't know if this has happened, but we've got spots 2 through 6 taken. So left is 1, 7, 8, 9, and 10. This is, if we can make this work, this is going to be pretty impressive. All right, here we go. Spin number 6 in 3, 2, 1. And we're going to come to a stop on, oh boy, Eric Decker. All right, wide receiver. Wasn't with the Jets very long, but did have had his nice run. You know, obviously that overtime touchdown against New England will always be his most memorable moment as a Jet. But yeah, I don't think there's any way we're putting him at 1. So really, it's 7, 8, 9, or 10. And right now, the 8 is in the lead. Okay. Yeah, I don't think that's the worst thing because he wasn't with the Jets. Like all these other guys that we've seen, Mangold, Lewis, Lyons, Green, these were all Jets for like a decade. That's actually, to me, about the most impressive part of this wheel. We've got 5 guys who are absolutely Jets. No question about it. Decker slides down the pole like his wife. Yeah. He's got quite the wife, though. I'll tell you that. All right. Assist My Suicide says 7. There's some real big stinkers left. Yeah, there are that. Yeah, I could go 7 or 8 with Decker, but right now the 8s are in the lead. So I'll tell you what, I'll go Eric Decker at 8. Not necessarily taking a shot at him, but yeah, this wheel's just been too good. And yeah, you take what the wheel gives you. All right, guys. So let's give you a quick recap. Yep, 8's got this one. All right, we got it. All right, so to recap. Number 1 is Blank. Number 2, Nick Mangold. Number 3, Mo Lewis. Number 4, Marty Lyons. Number 5, Victor Green. Number 6, Ray Mickens. Number 7, Blank. Number 8, Eric Decker. And numbers 9 and 10 are both blank. All right, here we go. Let's go to spin number 7 in 3, 2, 1. Give me like Tremaine Johnson. I'm over at Tremaine Johnson. We almost got him, only a couple spaces away. Richie Anderson, the fullback. You know what? This might work out incredibly well. That putting Decker at 8 might work out perfectly because, Richie Anderson is not going to be number 1. He's certainly not going to be number 10. So really, it's spot 7 or 9 for Richie Anderson. So here's the question, guys. Would you put Richie Anderson above or below Eric Decker? Couple guys already saying not. Wow. Okay, I got to be honest. I thought Richie Anderson might get a little bit more love, but okay. Yeah, right now it's straight 9s. Wow. I gotta say that was a much more decisive result than I expected. All right, Richie Anderson, 9. Did have that first touchdown, that home playoff game against the Colts when Chad threw him that pass and he took it to the house. Whole lot of blocking. All right, guys, we've got spots 1, 7, and 10 left to go. Oh, Top Golf night out. Nice. Well, just got invited to a Top Golf event. That'll be about $50 an hour. I love me some Top Golf, though. All right. Yep. Dane, you got it. 1, 7, and 10 remain. Okay. This is spin number 8. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. And it's coming to a stop on Braden Man. Well, guys, I know Braden Man. Oh, boy, one of the least popular jet punters that I can remember. Maybe the least popular jet punter that there's ever been. Didn't he wear number 7, as I recall? That would have been ironic. I'm pretty sure Braden Mann was number 7 with the Jets. And he's still in the league, right? Yeah, Braden Mann's with the Eagles. So, yeah, still kicking around. So, hey, you got to give him some credit. Assist wants him at spot 69. Okay. Roger says we found the last of the last. Yeah, I think we pretty much got to go number 10 on this. Yeah, we can't put Braden Mann above Eric Decker and Richie Anderson. All right, that leaves spot 1 and spot 7. I think so far this wheel is a win. I'm feeling pretty good about this, but we got 2 very specific spots that we got to hit. All right, here we go. We're going to go with spin number 9, when we need to fill in either spot 1 or spot 7. Not going to be easy, but here we go. In 3, 2, 1. And we've got Pat Leahy. Okay. Pat Leahy's got a very small but loyal following. I'm not the biggest Leahy fan. He was with the Jets for a lot of years, but he missed a lot of kicks. He only made about 71% of his field goals. And he really wasn't good at long kicks. He was good at pretty much 40 yards and in. So Jets, Mess, and Roger want to put Pat Leahy at number 1 on this list above Nick Mangold, Mo Lewis, and Marty Lyons. Harlan and Dane want to go with the 7. Dane says go for the gold next spin. Yeah, I'm leaning the same way that you are. But I'll certainly give another 30 seconds or so, give other people a chance to vote as well. Swig of water for the working man and woman. Not that we have women watching live, but hey, maybe one. Hey, Arkansas, if you're watching. Let's gamble. All right, I like it. Yeah, let's have fun. Let's get risky here. Let's go. All right. Pat Leahy is going to be in spot number 7, and to be honest with you, I'm cool with it. All right. All-time tenure in scoring. Before you guys got spoiled, we had Pat Leahy for stabilizer. I just look at the numbers, and I'm not in love with what I see. Put it this way: if we had a kicker making 7 out of 10 field goals, we would be calling for somebody different. I guess back then it was okay. I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe the NFL was a little bit different back then, but I give him credit for being a Jet for a long time. But was Pat Leahy ever like one of the best kickers in the league? Like Nick Mangold was one of the best centers, or Mo Lewis was one of the best linebackers? I don't see it. But okay, here we go. Now, I'm going to recap this from 10 all the way to 2. Number 10, Braden Mann. Number 9, Richie Anderson. Number 8, Eric Decker. Number 7, Pat Leahy. Number 6, Ray Mickens. Number 5, Victor Green. Number 4, Marty Lyons. Number 3, Mo Lewis. Number 2, Nick Mangold. This has been, I think, one of our best lists ever. When Richie Anderson is number 9, that's really, really good. All right. I'm tempted to dim the lights a little bit, but that would make for a very good show. All right, guys, here we go. Well, we have been through 9 spins tonight. We've been on the air for an hour and a half, and this is what everybody is here for. The final spin. And it will happen in 3, 2, 1, spin. We want to get that number 1. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Words don't do that justice. All I could say. Doug effing Bryan. I can hear Nick right now just going like this. Just like that. So for everybody who wants to roll the dice, remind me never to go to Vegas or Atlantic City with you. Wow. Dan, you're in Pittsburgh. Prayers to you, and have some Permanentes for me when you have a chance. Wow. Doug effing Bryan. I need to go take a shower. I feel dirty now after that one. I probably do need to clip that. The only problem is I cursed. I don't know if I want to clip myself using a swear word, but only thing worse is Kerry Blanchard. Roger, I got a worse one. Kari Vedvik. Remember Kari Vedvik? That one game in Baltimore, he missed 3 kicks, or Buffalo, he missed 3 kicks. Who's it? Not Matt Amendola. Who is it? Alex Kessman was his name, right? He was the 3rd kicker. Alex Kessman, I think, was his name. Roger, it still would have been a fail because Doug Bryan is the absolute lowest of the low when it comes to the. He won an overtime playoff game for us before the Pittsburgh thing, but still, it is just, oh my God. Doug Bryan was terrible even before he came to the Jets. There's really no debating this. So. Yeah. To me, I mean, what can you say? Doug Bryan would have been a 10. Doug Bryan anywhere but 10 is a fail. Unless you're talking about adding Kyle Wilson or Christian Hackenberg, Tremaine Johnson, or maybe even Le'Veon Bell. That type of player. Browning Nagel. Oh boy, I better get back to the comments. If this was therapy, you'd be opening old wounds. I know. Oh, that's what this does. Hopefully this freaking show doesn't get a copyright violation, but hey, what can you do? Oh man, yeah, we did so well for so long. Wow. That's like having like $80,000 on a trip on Wheel of Fortune, and you go for one more spin, and you land on bankrupt. That's basically what we did. All right, guys. But hey, the good thing is there's always next week. So hey, 15 more likes, and we'll spin the wheel again. All right. So just a reminder, we will be back here next Wednesday, 10 p.m. again. And for the next several Wednesdays after that, July 3rd is the day we are going to switch the show over to 6 p.m. And hey, then we can go 2 hours. We don't have to worry about any crossovers, as far as I know. And we can all still get to sleep at a reasonable hour. You can go check out other content, whoever may be on. Dane, I appreciate the compliment. I appreciate it very much. Nick stuck with Bobby. I will pray for him. No doubt about it. I heard Bobby said some things about me on his show that weren't very nice, and Nick shut it down. So I appreciate Nick doing that. I really do. Roger, I'm glad you enjoyed the wheel. I am, and you brought your energy to it tonight, and that I appreciate it too. I really do. Assist, you're welcome. All right, Nate. Yep, you're welcome as well. All right, everybody. I'll tell you what, guys, it is time for me to get out of here, but I want to thank you all very much for coming. And hey, check out the channel for more content, and I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where. See, there it is. The Wicker Chair. Good night, everybody. See you later.